Now let's get to the other segment. We call it rapid fire. So basically, in that segment, I'll usher out some word and just tell us what comes to your mind. It could be a word, it could be a sentence, it could be a bunch of those, but whatever comes to your mind. Should we start?
Sure.
Awesome. So, future of work.
The possibilities are endless.
Technology.
Enormous boost for efficiency and effectiveness.
Leadership.
Passion, competence, and caring for the mission and the people.
Remote work.
Geographic agnostic, not where, but what you're doing.
That's deep. Equity.
Equal access for everyone.
Diversity.
The richness of differences truly appreciated and embraced.
Legislature.
Incredibly important part of our government, solid foundation for the work that we do as civil servants.
Jobs of future.
Not static and may not currently be defined, some of the jobs of the future, right? We're kind of inventing them as we go.
Yeah. Future of learning.
This is one I care about a lot. Career journeys, not career paths. So difference between those two. And then a lot of focus on experiential learning in those career journeys.
That's a deep cut. So things that keep you up at night.
I think I have an awesome responsibility to my agency to do the best for them that I can. So it's not for lack of trying, but it's sort of a wonderment about how incredible this agency is and how much it matters to the whole world. And that I have a role in that. I'm very grateful, but I also want to make sure I'm always doing what matters because it's an awesome responsibility.
Wonderfully played, and thank you so much for playing that with us. Now we're on the last segment, and in that we love to go a bit on your personal journey. So we asked all of our guests to talk about some of the qualities, some of the traits that has helped them become what they have become now. What are some of those qualities for you that has really helped you shape what you are today?
Well, I mean, I could give you a traditional answer. I think staying organized is really important. I think keeping in touch with people and understanding what's going on is important. But as you progress, there is a sense of having to let go of some things that you have always done. And so what has gotten you here may not get you there. That's not original, of course. There's a whole book on that. But recognizing what you need to hold on to as habits that are helpful and what you need to let go of. So a good example for me is that, I came from the world of doing, right? So, if someone had a task, then I would do it, right? And now I've migrated from doing to managing to leading. Those are all different things. And as I've gone into this leadership position, I realize that I do have to delegate, but here's the twist. I do delegate. I have incredible staff. I have the most amazing team that does a better job than I would do if I turned my hand to some of these tasks. So I want to give them props for that. But I don't want to lose touch. I think that can happen. That the further away you get from the pulse of the organization, the more you lose lock on how to talk about it, think about it, and what good decisions look like, and how to advocate for your organization. And so for me, making that switch of how do I advocate, how do I sound like I know what's going on and actually know what's going on, how do I be authentic and in touch without having to be in the middle of everything. And that's part of the people leadership, trusting your people to be able to do really good work and having the right conversations so that there's sort of a mind meld and a reshaping if necessary. And these are all techniques that have been written about and talked about. And I don't consider myself a guru on these things, other than as a practitioner, I have found that there is that letting go, but with that caveat that I still want to understand what is happening in my organization so that I can do the best that I can to lead them and to advocate for them.
So I'm curious. I'm curious. What advice would you give your 16-year-old self?
So that's a broader question about how I have run my career. The other thing I'd say to myself, which I don't think that I did that well along the way, was follow your passions, right? Now, I did that at different times. Like when I went to work in the music industry, that was a passion thing. And that was fun. But, you're living on a little bit of money in a really big city, and that's good for that. And then you can't keep that going for forever. But beyond that, I think there were moments when I hit a wall in jobs that I held where it was like, I'm just treading water here. I am not passionate about this and I am not learning. And don't dwell too long in places where you are not growing and for which you do not have a sufficient amount of passion. You might have passion that then you've done what you need to do, and then you move along. Because I think one of the things that I notice about me in this job is that I love what I do. I literally love what I do. And I get up every day wanting to talk to the people, work with the people, work at this agency. And I'm one of the lucky ones. Not everybody feels that way, right? And so, and I didn't really plan it. It just sort of happened. But I think along the way, I looked at eras and I thought, I spent too long there. I didn't learn enough, right? So I think that's really important for those earlier career people who are finding their way through professional development. Pay attention to your gut and what it's telling you about whether you sort of stalled out or whether you just don't have the passion, and then go find where your passion takes you.
Fascinating. I think so I always joke. So in India, it's very famous that passion is something you do after you retire. So
yes, right.
Just get back to studies. Okay, you have passion.
Yeah, right.
Beautiful. Wait till you're 60 and then you can do whatever you want to do. So,
Right.
so beautifully put, and thank you for walking us through that. So quickly, let's talk about your favorite books that have inspired you, or the books that you love reading.
Well, I will say that I'm a classics kind of gal. I just mean classical literature. So, and the reason that I love classics is because there are two things that I listen and look out for. One is the sound of the words. Language is really beautiful. And in classics, it's all about crafting the language and being able to, even just take text and read it out loud, the beauty of language. And I find that I think about language and how it sounds when I am in my workplace, because I'm thinking about how to find new ways to say things, how to convey meaning and intent, and how to make it listenable, right? So that's part of it. And then there's also structure. Every novel has a structure, right? And so what is that structure? And if you can find what it is, it actually helps you understand it. I also play the piano, classical piano. And one of the things my teacher has done is have me break pieces up into their different sections, both for just practical reasons, but also to understand how it's laid out. And understanding the structure of things can be very helpful in a work context as well. So.